Do you feel like you should have won the show?
Yeah, bro. Not just me. People in the industry, your eyes on there. I'll name them. Patrick Shaw, Amadasco, the Italian guy who has his athletes up there. Abdullah from Dungeon Gym. Many, bro. Many people up there should have thought it should have been me and Tonio for 1 and 2.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So let's start this video with Nathan D'Asia, who appeared on the Muscle Discord, and he have a fiery interview expressing his thoughts on Dubai Pro results. Now he was visibly upset after getting 4th place even on the stage at this year's Dubai Pro show, and because he expressed his feelings loud and clear that in his mind the judges made some seriously bad calls while judging this year's Dubai Pro show. We have to look at those HD pictures from this event one more time. Now, a lot of us were really interested in hearing where does he think he should have finished at this year's Dubai Pro show. And he said at the very least, top 2, not with Behrouz Tabani or William Bonac, but him and Antonio Burton. They should have been top 2. Now, if that's true, then the judges seriously made some bad calls here. So let us compare Nathan D'Asia and Behrouz Tabani and their pictures. And these were all taken by the NPC News Online, taken in the same light, from the same angle, from the same distance. So the front double biceps. Behrouz Tabani has a very pleasing shape. But you cannot ignore this point, that Nathan's quads, they look bigger and more separated. But at the same time, Behrouz had more advantage in the arms department. Now you can say the same about the front lat spread too. So Nathan was better in the lower half. But Behrouz Tabani, aesthetically, he had overall more width and more X-frame, and in my opinion, he wins that pose quite comfortably. So those side shots, they are kind of split, as both these guys, they have their strengths in both these side shots, with Nathan having bare shoulders and more chest thickness. But once again, the flow and the aesthetics on Behrouz Tabani, that is way superior. Now I don't think the back shots, they were even close between Nathan D'Asia and Behrouz Tabani. And it isn't just the added detail in the hamstrings and the glutes on Behrouz Tabani that makes him stronger in that back double biceps. The overall size difference between him and Nathan D'Asia, that is immense. The adductors, they aren't even close here. And Behrouz won both the back shots, the back double biceps and the back lat spread, and that too, top to bottom, quite comprehensively. Lastly, we have the abs and thigh shot, and the most muscular. So, Behrouz Tabani, because of that very small waistline and good overall X-frame with deep separated abs, it's a superb shot. But it is an awesome shot for Nathan D'Asia too. But I just think that his obliques, that kind of hurt him in that shot. And the most muscular, we all know, that is Behrouz's shot all day long. And although we did compare the guy who finished first and the guy who placed 4th here, but this was very much needed. And for Nathan to even beat a guy like William Bonac, that would have been pretty damn difficult. Although me and majority of the guys, they do think that Antonio Burton was pretty damn complete in that show overall. But is there a case that can be made for Nathan D'Asia to be in that top 2? Or was it that the show was just too damn close and all the top guys, they were pretty damn impressive here? Do let me know what you guys think. Next up, we have an update from the mutant Nick Walker. So that bald look on the mutant, that makes him more badass. So Nick is on his way to beat that Pittsburgh Pro, and the look that he brought at this year's New York Pro, undoubtedly the best looks of his career so far at this year's Olympia stage. Now it just took him one show after a gap of 2 years, especially skipping the Olympia for 2 years in a row and getting all that backlash from the fans, from the experts, and then just turning things around and becoming one of the most loved IFBB pros one more time in the entire planet. And at the moment, Nick is riding that wave of momentum big time. And I think Nick placing anything outside of that top 3 at the Olympia this year, it's gonna be a major loss for him, especially in his own opinion. Now, it's actually a different attitude by Nick Walker this time around, that he isn't saying that he's gonna win the Olympia anyway. His expectations, they are top 3. Although majority of the experts out there, they do believe, and they tend to agree, that for Nick Walker to beat any one of those top 3 guys, namely Hadi Choopan, Derek and Samson Dauda, they need to come in off. And if we leave Hadi Choopan out of it, because he's kind of an exception here because the man is always on, especially in terms of conditioning. So there is a possibility of Samson Dauda and Derek missing their mark on the Olympia stage. And the reason I'm saying that is because both these guys, they did the Arnold and Derek did the Pittsburgh Pro too. And that was 10 weeks later after this year's Arnold, Ohio. But that being said, how much are those chances of these guys coming in off? And we have heard it over and over again, that the bigger you get, the more difficult it is to get that peak right, to be 100% on, especially every single time. So the question right now is that, first of all, can Nick Walker beat that Pittsburgh Pro version? Because that was like a picture-perfect version from the Mutant. And other than him not controlling his midsection at all times on the stage, especially towards the end of the show, that was pretty spot-on version from the Mutant. And the second question is, what are the chances of Samson or Derek or Hadi coming in off? So these 16 weeks, they're gonna fly by real fast. So I for one am very excited to see Nick Walker back on the Olympia stage, as I do think that this time it's gonna be a 4-man final call out. But do let me know, what do you guys think? Next up, we have an update from Regan Grimes. So the great legends of the bodybuilding sport, who have always spoken so highly in regards to Regan, they have also pointed out that he was never the most driven IFBB pro, and Regan himself admitted that he lost that fire a few years back. But we have seen it this year from Regan that he's the most motivated he has ever been in the past few years, and the man is very determined to leave his mark at this year's Olympia stage big time. So he knows some improvements are desperately needed in order for him to place anywhere from 6th to 9th at the Olympia this year. Now, for those of you guys who do not know, I am being a bit conservative here, as Regan himself, he chose a lower window for his placing at this year's Olympia. So, in his mind, he can be anywhere from 4th to 8th. But we all know he isn't at a point in his career where he can be the likes of Andrew Jack, William Bonac, or Brandon Curry, or I'm gonna say possibly even Tonio Burton. But he's very much locked in for these next 15.5 weeks. Now, it is so amazing to see that Regan from the front and the back, they are totally different bodybuilders. His overall back, that might be one of the most complete backs in the whole of men's open bodybuilding division. The size on those legs, that looks awesome, and that too in both those rear shots. But even after making some improvements in his quads, they still look a bit smaller from the front compared to his upper half. So the New York Pro look from Regan, the moment he walked on that stage, that was pretty impressive. But as beautiful as that frame is, and how impressive his flow is, more size is needed on his frame overall in order for him to have a shot at some of the top guys. Next up, we have an update from James Hollings. So he's doing what he loves the most, and that is training with some pretty heavyweights in the gym. Now, I do not think there is a high likelihood of James doing any other show before this year's Mr. Olympia. So he did the Arnold and Detroit Pro, and the Arnold was definitely not his best look. He was very happy with the way he looked at this year's Detroit Pro show. But the fact is, he was up against William Bonac and Sazan Hiroti. Now, that being said, that choice of shows by James Hollings said that hasn't been that great last year or this year either. He has been entering those pretty high-profile shows with some of the best competitors in the entire pro league, and he just keeps on skipping these shows in the later part of the year. The shows that he could definitely win, and the shows where he can have a legitimate shot at getting his Olympia qualification. For instance, France Pro and Europa Pro show, which are scheduled a few weeks before the Olympia. They could be a great choice of shows for James Hollings. Now, he looked massive at Detroit Pro, but his midsection, that hurt him big time, especially standing next to a guy like Sazan, who has some of the best abs and some of the most detailed midsection in the pro league. So what do you guys think? Should James compete in one of those last Olympia qualifiers? And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.